Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, which features interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, without further ado, I'll hand you over to your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Ready to Bloom podcast, episode 135. This is your host, Holly Wharton. I'm here with today's special guest, Cathy Ballard. Cathy is a spiritual business mentor from the UK. She helps big-hearted, go-getting entrepreneurs to connect to their higher guidance, to get the breakthroughs they've been looking for, find their flow, and to create joyful, abundant, and aligned lives in business so that they can make money and make a difference by doing what they love. Welcome, Cathy.
Hi, Holly. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you back on the show.
Oh, it's good to be here. Yeah, it seems like it's been ages since I was on.
It has been ages, and last time we were talking about branding, and since then your business has gone through quite a shift.
It has. It's it's interesting. Like with branding, it's been quite frustrating, really, because I've got such a passion for sort of personal growth that every time I grow, my brand changed. So I could never keep up with, I was always changing my brand to keep up with the new me. So
I can definitely relate to that. So the last time you were on was episode 28, and that actually ended up being almost 2 years ago. It was the 3rd of February of 2014. So why don't you tell us a little about your background and your business journey and how you got to where you are today? And I'd specifically like to talk a little bit about how you made that shift from branding to what you're doing today.
Okay, so I guess the reason why I'm doing, how I come to be doing sort of more of the helping people clear blocks and doing energy work and more of the spiritual side. When I was in my early 20s, I took off backpacking. I was quite a shy, scared child growing up, and I seemed to be scared of everybody, and I just thought, I got to a place where I was like, this has to change or I'm never going to be happy, really. I didn't know who I was, and I just wanted to do something about that, or I wouldn't be having a life that I was really excited about. So I got a backpack and decided, right, I'm going to Japan. And when I was on the flight, I was so terrified because I'd never travelled on my own internationally before. And at one point, I got this just really strong message from inside me, like a voice speaking, and it said, "Don't worry, but your backpack didn't make it onto the plane." It was so insistent, but it was quite quiet at the same time. And by the time I got to Narita in Japan, my backpack wasn't there, as this voice had said, and it said, "Don't worry, everything will be all right." So I didn't panic. I just waited calmly for the carousel to finish, and everyone had taken their bags, and I made my went to sort it out. And then I had a 2-day journey, which would have been a nightmare carrying this backpack, because I had to get up to Hokkaido, which was the North Island of Japan. And as it happened, I arrived there quite calmly and easily. And I arrived at my destination, and my backpack showed up in the post about 2 hours later. And it was easy, and like it had said, I didn't need to worry. And I was just like, what was that voice? I've got to find this again, So it was, I was already really interested in spiritual stuff, but I think that just really started me looking. And I actually got into yoga when I was there as well. And then my teacher was from India, and I was one of these kids that, when I was little, that used to go, why? And I did the same with him. But he was a consciousness teacher, and he had the answer to every question I threw at him. And it didn't satisfy me. I was like, I've got to find out more. And so I ended up going off to India after that. And this voice, this intuition, as a traveller, when you're out of your normal routine, you're so much more wide open to your intuition, and your senses are heightened. And I just used to kind of tune in and follow it all the time. And eventually it led me all around the world. And I knew at one point I had to get to Mexico City for something. And it was while I was there that I met this spiritual teacher who's from New Zealand. And he invited me to go to New Zealand, help him build and run a consciousness centre there, which I did for 5 or 6 years. So that was such an amazing period in my life. And so that was my background. And then I'd been doing all the design and graphics and branding. And I'd had to park that side of me because I'd moved back to the UK and thought I have to get a proper job, settle down, and I have to sort of close that chapter. And but what happened in the end was it just kept coming to the surface. That was my true self. So I then tried to bring that into my branding work. And I created Brand from the Heart, which was I used to do that one-to-one with my clients, and then I created an online program. And I bring in energy work into like branding modules to help people get clear about who they were on the inside, help them clarify their vision through meditations and things, and then sort of move that through into like how they express their business in a really authentic way. But again, it was still, I'd done a live event day of Brand from the Heart, and it had flowed brilliantly. It had gone so well, and yet when I did the upsell into the next thing that people could do with me, I only got one person on a group program. So obviously it didn't go ahead. And I was thinking, my gosh, I know that I was in such a good space though that it didn't like shake me. I just felt it's not the right thing for me right now. It's the wrong offer. I'll just be open, because flow doesn't stop. It's just because I had it wrong doesn't mean I'm not in the right place. So. But I didn't know I didn't know, like, from my head what the next step would be. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to surrender to the universe and let it show me. And because I do believe that we each have a potential that we're here to live out, and that potential is coded into us like an oak tree is coded into an acorn. And if we put ourselves in the right environment and we let life guide us and we don't get in the way of it, then that path unfolds in front of us, and we just then need to take action on it. So I decided I'm going to let that path be shown to me, and I pulled up my oars and stopped paddling against the current. And eventually, after a few weeks, which was quite stressful, not knowing where I was going, it's like I had this big download, and out of it came the Flow Project, which is I started doing it as just a free kind of energy experience on Facebook. But when I was doing it, I was channeling, and so I didn't know exactly what I was going to be sharing. But the shifts and transformations that people got in just a matter of a day or two, I really was shocked at how big they were. And so it really made me think, right, there's something that I really need to be sharing more in the world here. So, and I'm about to do that. I'm doing the third run of it, and every time people have got really significant results. So I guess it was the universe was trying to give me a good nudge to get out of what I thought was safe and a bit more acceptable in the business world. But this, I'm so much more passionate about it. And when I see those shifts in people, and I can help them do it so quickly. Because, we can't see our own stuff, can we? But no. You've got those mirrors and you can blast through it so fast. So that's kind of what's brought me to this point now.
And so was the shift from Brand from the Heart to the Flow Project, was that very organic, or were there any kind of internal struggles of how can I change my business? I'm moving to such a different thing. What was going on for you internally when you went through that?
It was just a knowing. I just let go. I just completely let go. And I was like, okay, I don't know the answer. And if I try and work it out with my head, my conscious mind, it's not going to happen. So I just had to let go and allow it to show up. And it was really stressful because it took a few weeks. And that meant I didn't have clients for that time, because I wasn't consciously trying to get branding clients. So yes, it was quite a test, but eventually it sort of paid off, because everything has really unfolded from that, and my programs are now selling out, which was fantastic. So I feel so much more aligned with it, but it did take a while to fully drop what wasn't truly me. Makes sense.
So it sounds like you had a really clear feeling that this was the right thing, and so you just kind of forged ahead with it.
Yeah.
I love that. And did you experience any fears or blocks or anything as you were making the shift into the new business?
Oh, yes. I mean, I feel like, all those fears that I had from being younger, that although I've worked on so many of them, they always come up, don't they? All those ingrained ones. So they just come up layer after layer. And I think every time that you step out into the thing that you know that you want to do, but that it's still quite a big leap, it always brings up the not truth of who you are in order for it to be cleared. So it feels like quite a big step for me to do this. So it's been really uncomfortable, and it's sort of shown up in ways of, well, I think I have blocks around, I don't know whether these are probably diversions that are actually trying to keep me safe or small, but technology blocks, and I literally had my flow blocked because how often we have things show up in our physical body or in our external reality that is the mirror of what's going on in our inner space, if you like. Yeah. All my plumbing went wrong in my flat, and for 6 months whilst I was doing this transition, and it's only it's only fairly recently come clear, and now since then everything has been going amazingly.
I love that.
It did make me chuckle, but at the time I was thinking, well, I'm doing flow stuff. Why is it still not working? I know I'm still slightly out of alignment, and I think it was about once I really knew how powerful this work can be and how easy it is for people to shift. I just became very confident that I know that I can help people make massive shifts. And once I'd sort of made that decision, that's when everything started to click in, and it was like a big self-confidence thing, really.
So let's talk a little bit about flow. How would you define flow?
It's when everything is in alignment and you're taking action, and you're not allowing that inner head talk that comes up to try and sabotage you. You're not allowing it to take your focus, and you stay focused on what you do want. Mm-hmm. When you keep sort of taking steps and taking action, you stay in alignment with what your true path is. It's like if you think of a river where the current is very fast moving in the middle. If you're sticking around the edges, there's a lot of friction, and it slows the boat down, sort of thing. But if you can move out away from all of those things that might distract you or catch you, and you can flow into the center, it lifts you, and you actually take less effort because the current is carrying you. I think when you get past your own inner head talk and you stay focused, and you don't look at the evidence of what's not working, and you focus on what you want, you'll stay in that central flow.
That makes sense. So could you tell us a little bit about what your top tips are and how to find your flow and bust through those blocks in business? Because I think so many of us have experienced flow kind of randomly at certain points in our life and our business, but it can be really hard to tap into that.
I think for me, the biggest one is to do meditation. We've all got this immense part of ourselves, this unlimited part of ourselves that that's connected to the greater consciousness, that's source, God, the divine, whatever you call it. If you make a habit of connecting to that energy and you feel that sort of throughout you, that's your true nature. And whenever any kind of challenges come up, normally we go straight into our heads, which, that's the limited self. Mm-hmm. So if you can sort of acknowledge that, if you can catch yourself when you're in that space and then reconnect with this greater part of yourself and push your energy out and sort of identify with that bigger self, you tend to be able to bust through those blocks so much faster. Mm-hmm. So definitely meditation. I would... Like we were saying before, it's so difficult to see our own blocks. We need other people to mirror ourselves back to us, and not just our blocks, but to mirror back our brilliance. Because when you're working with someone who can see how amazing you are, and we've all got such amazing gifts within us. We've all got like a purpose that we're here to fulfill, and a certain group of people that we're here to serve, that where we can really help them to the best, to be in their best energy, that while we're in our best energy, and so if we've got someone who can mirror back to us who we are, and we can then see that and believe in ourselves and start taking action steps towards that and have that support, when as you take those steps outside your comfort zone and the negative head talk comes in, having someone on hand to just say, look, that's not who you are, go for what you want, I'm here, I can help you, I'm supporting you. I think that's really helped me, and that's how I really love supporting my clients. And it's like, once you've got that, once you know that support's there and you've just got someone to check in with, you can keep going towards your goal or your dream, and it just makes it so much easier, and it doesn't take half as much time, because you're not second guessing and procrastinating, and you're not so much in fear. You're much bolder and more confident to go for it. And just believing in having someone to believe in you, so you believe in yourself. I think those are the main things. Not doing it all on your own.
I think that's really, really important. So when you talk about having someone to serve as a mirror for you, is that like a coach, a mentor, someone kind of formally helping you, or what type of person do you have in mind as far as support?
I would say someone formally helping you, especially someone who can see you. Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of different coaches for different aspects of your business, but if you want someone who having someone who can help you actually see how amazing you are and how what your unique brilliance is, so that you can step into that, I think that's really important. Someone who won't let you buy into your own, because we talk ourselves out of things, and we think what we're telling ourselves is the truth, and most of the time, or a lot of the time anyway, it's not. And if you've got someone external who's a coach who can sort of catch you on it and show you that you're not coming from your authentic place, it gives you that kind of like insight, I suppose, that, oh yes, it doesn't feel true for me what I'm actually saying about myself. And then it gives you then the opportunity to find out, well, what is true, right? So it's sort of the expansion takes place inside yourself. So then you've already got your own sort of evidence, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's like a felt sense of, okay, that wasn't right. So, what's possible for me? And then, and when you're opening, it's like you're opening up to your unlimited self. Then when you're going, what more is there? And then it can drop into your awareness. And so you've got another step on the path to go towards.
And in using meditation to tap into your flow, do you recommend just silent meditation, guided meditations, mantras, anything? What do you recommend?
I use quite a lot of whatever I can find on YouTube, actually. If I've got a particular issue that I'm stuck with, or I'm feeling a particular way that's a bit negative, or usually there'll be something that I can just put in the search bar, and I quite often use something like Abraham Hicks, and then I'll put the word, so like confidence or self-belief, Abraham Hicks, and then there'll be a whole lot of audios to listen to that will shift me on a conscious level and energetically. But then also there's again on YouTube, if I am struggling to get out of my head and just connect with my body, so that I can go, actually sleep or something, if I've got a lot of stuff that's been in my head, then I'll just use whatever guided meditations intuitively feel right. There's so many available, but I do more often than not. I do my own stuff, which is it might sound a bit weird, like listening to your own meditations that you've just spoken, but they just really work for me. I actually do my own silent meditation in the morning. I do Vipassana style meditation, which is a particular style. I think silent meditation for a lot of people is quite difficult because the mind is, so busy. But if you've got a process that you can follow, then that makes it really easy, or a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree. I love the guided meditations just because they give me something to focus on and just makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
And very relaxing. However, I had never thought of going to YouTube to look for them, so thank you very much for that tip.
There's a treasure trove there, really.
I can imagine. So, Cathy, how can other women entrepreneurs work with you? What are the different options you have? You've got a new flow process coming up very soon, isn't that correct?
Yeah, the Flow project starts next Friday. It's a free 5-day energy alignment program, and it runs on Facebook. So every day you'll get different meditations and like reflection questions and introduction audios that help you kind of put the meditation into context. So each day builds on the next, and it helps you sort of connect with that greater part of you, your unlimited self, and then helps you identify what the blocks are, what your vision is, and also how to raise your vibration and keep moving forward so that you can manifest whatever you want, really, whatever you want in your life or business.
So what are the other ways that women can work with you? I know you do one-to-one work, you've got VIP days. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the one-to-one work is usually depending on what people need. Some people need like 6 months to sort of not be quite so intense because of however their lifestyle might be. But so we work we'd have a call like every couple of weeks to be on this longer term journey that's a little bit more gentle and gives them time to fit it in around life. And then other people, they kind of want the fast track. And there's a 3-month program that I do, which is one-to-one, where there's a call every week, and they, really it's the path of fire. And but yes, they can make very significant shifts in like a 3-month period. And usually that's where they're very committed to making a big shift because there's something that they need to kind of do, or they've got a goal that they really want to achieve, rather than trying to transform a whole business, which is that takes longer. And then I run a group program as well. I've got one starting just after Easter, which is called Business Flow Alignment, and that's just a small group program and a maximum of 8 people. So there's plenty of time to do some one-to-one work in there as well as group calls. And that's just a way that's much more affordable for people to get the same kind of shifts.
So, Cathy, do you have any women business mentors? Are there any women entrepreneurs who inspire you?
I've had this is a great question. And the women that inspire me, I think they're women who are really real. They're women who are like courageously authentic. And there's so much, I think on Facebook particularly, there's so much, not falsehood per se, but there's a veneer that gets shown. And I really connect with those women who just share all of it, not just the nice bits. And the ones, and my coach, she's called Lenka Lutonska. I've known her for quite a long time. We worked with each other, but she's, I just think she's brilliant. And, I've learnt a lot from her. And she's a great lady. And then there's another lady called Gillian Haslam, who has such a phenomenal story. She was brought up in India. She's written a book recently called Indian English, which is being turned into a movie. And she just went on. I mean, she got brought up in the slums, and she is now a millionaire living in Hertfordshire. And so it's the story about she lost 4 siblings when she was younger, and now she's running a successful training company and teaching the mindset skills that it took for her to move through that and transform her life. So, and both of these ladies are so authentic and real, and they come from their heart, and they're gentle, and they're kind, and they're generous, and I love those qualities.
Sounds fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today. Flow process, your tips for getting into flow. Where can people find you online and learn more about what you do?
My website is cathyballard.com. And you can check me out on Facebook, just Cathy Ballard. And also I've got a Facebook group called Spiritual Business Hub, which is quite a vibrant group. I really love that. And if you want to register for the Flow project, you can go to cathyballard.com/The Flow Project. And we'll be starting on Friday, the 26th of February. But I'm sort of planning to do this fairly regularly, so it's worth checking in and seeing when the next one is, really.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you for inviting me. It's been great to talk to you.
Great. And thank you for listening. And remember to visit readytobloom.com/135 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Ready to Bloom podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's guests, including links for topics that were discussed at readytobloom.com. That's ready, the number 2, bloom.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave us a quick review of this podcast. Thank you so much.